Welcome to Trading is What I Do, episode 3. I'm your host, Jose Paglon, aka JP, aka 702 Forex on Instagram. I am the founder of Trading is What I Do, clothing apparel. Today's episode is with a trader that I have been following for many years on Instagram. The man has over 10 years of experience in trading. He goes by the name of Shawn Calayag. You can find him on Instagram at K2 Trades. He is the founder of the K2 Proprietary Trading System, and his system pretty much is the definition of simplicity. So, in this interview, he talks about how easy it is to learn his system. He talks about his success rate with himself and also within his community. So you're definitely going to want to check out this interview. He also goes into details of his journey and how he became and how he developed this system. And he also talks about a touchy subject in the Forex community about college and about having a regular job. I mean, the guy used to be an attorney, so he went through the college route, and he was an attorney for several years. So you definitely want to check this out. If you haven't done so already, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, leave a comment, and hey, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. So let's go ahead and get into this. Mahalo for watching, and I know you're going to enjoy. Welcome to Trading is What I Do, episode 3. Today, our special guest is with Shawn Calayag. You also know him as K2 Trades on Instagram. Shawn is the founder of the K2 Proprietary Trading System. So, Shawn, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and just jump right into this. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself. How did you get into trading? How did you get to where you are at now?
Definitely. Thanks for having me on your show, JP. So basically, I started trading about a little over 10 years ago, so about 11 now, up to this year. I was going on and off. I wasn't like consistently trading, all throughout those years. But the first couple of years were kind of rough. Obviously you try to learn how to trade and all that. And I never had a mentor. I never took a course. So I learned everything through, Google and YouTube. So basically trial and error,
Yeah.
learning from all these different traders online, learning all these different strategies. And that's pretty much how I started. I started with stocks, and then I traded stocks for maybe about 1 or 2 years, moved over to options. And then I started like in college. So during that time I had like free time. And then after that I started, working a normal 9-to-5 job. So then I couldn't trade stocks anymore. I love stocks and all, but I just couldn't trade anymore because I was working during those hours. So from that time, I moved over to Forex. That's when I found Forex, because I figured out that Forex was a 24-hour market. So I was, I could work during the day, trade at night. So that's when I moved over to Forex, and man, I fell in love with Forex, bro, because the stock market was totally different compared to Forex. Like the stock market, it's a directional asset. It moves, up or down. For Forex, it's a ranging asset. So you can kind of like, find out a lot of technical analysis and like figure out your way to trade from there. So yeah, I've been trading Forex for probably about the last 6 years now. And man, I love it, dude. So I've been doing Forex for since then. And then now recently I moved over to indices. So I've been trading US 30 now. It's like my main asset.
Nice.
Going back to like where I started, I actually, I went to college, I took the normal route and I worked a normal job. And then from there I went to law school, I became an attorney. So
Wow.
I did the whole, normal, linear path, going to school, get a good paying job and just, live life. But, my goal was always to be a trader. I always loved trading. And, after being an attorney for a couple of years, I hated it. It was stressful working, 10-hour days. And it was just, it came to a point where I was making more money trading, and it just didn't make sense for me to continue to, grind away my life in this like, corporate job than do what I actually love to do. So here I am now. I started K2 about 2 years ago. And from there, it's been great.
That's awesome, man. I kind of similar route, so I get the feeling, right? Because I started off in stocks too, and I know about transitioning and all that stuff from stocks to forex. Now, as far as your K2 proprietary trading system, explain to us exactly what is that, and how did you come together with this trading system?
Yeah, definitely. So the system is based off momentum trading. So it was based off trend continuation and momentum. So what happened was, like I mentioned, when I started learning, I was just learning everything. I learned like all the indicators. I learned all the different types of strategies. And what I figured out from testing everything out, I figured out what worked good for me, right? Because there's no right or wrong way to trade. Realistically, you can trade any way you like. You can trade price action. You can trade momentum. You can trade straight indicators. And for me, I started to like looking at the charts every day. I started to see patterns, and I knew what I was looking for every time. So what happened was I started pulling all of the best parts from all the strategies that I actually liked. And then I created them into like one system. So basically everything that I like from this system, I grabbed it from there. Everything from this system, I grabbed it from there. And then I started looking at specific things. And then it got to a point where, it takes a long time if you're going to analyze everything from scratch. So in order to make this proprietary, I created my own indicators. So I created a couple indicators. I created a momentum indicator to determine the direction of price. I created a trend meter where I can identify the overall trend on like 4 different time frames. Because sometimes some people have like, I started off, if you watch my older videos, I have like 4 screens, like one time frame, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour daily, and you get confused when you see too many things at once.
Yeah.
So what I did was, instead of having those 4 charts up, I moved everything into one indicator so I can do it all on one chart. So I would trade off the 30-minute, and then I'd have the trend for the 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour, so I can see what's going on throughout the entire day. So that's the original strategy. I based everything off that. And then from there, I branched off to other strategies, which were looking for the same thing, but just different entry points. So it's basically the same strategy. And that's what makes my strategy proprietary, because it's not something that you can, learn somewhere else, because I created it from scratch. And yeah, so basically I went from there, and then I still trade that way, but I kind of changed my style, like, over time, right? Because when you start to see different things, you start to your personality changes. You're like, I want to go from like swing trading to intraday to scalping. And I figured out that scalping was like my thing, scalping and intraday. And I just basically catered my strategy towards that. So like, if you go through my course, you'll see that there's an evolution between different strategies, where it starts from the original over to these other ones that are kind of similar. And you can tell that they're similar because if you apply them, you'll see that you're looking for the same thing. It's just the entry points will either be at this point or it'll be at this point. But pretty much everything kind of intertwines, and it's all based off, it's a rule-based strategy. So it's like a checkoff list, right? So it's easy to learn. It's easy to learn. So a lot of new traders will come over from like different trading groups and different trading companies, and they're just amazed because they're like, this is so simple. Like, if you're trading price action, it's so subjective. Like what you see could be totally different from what I see.
Yeah.
But using my system, we're all looking at the same thing. So it's really hard to get it wrong. So it's like, it's easy if someone makes a mistake, it's easy to just point out and be like, this is what you did wrong, and this is what you need to do to fix that. So there's always a solution to it.
Now, when you say you developed your own your own indicators, so correct me if I'm wrong, but these indicators only work on TradingView?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, that's how I. So the reason why I put it on TradingView is that's how I made it proprietary. Because if I made it on MT4, there's ways to crack it. People can crack those indicators easily. They'll have someone like decode it or reverse engineer the indicator.
Yeah.
On TradingView, you're able to create invite-only scripts. So like you'll have scripts there that people can use, but they can't see the code. So I paid some coder to go and basically what I did was I created the logic. So, what we're looking at on the screen, I have like a step-by-step process. Like if this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens, then you want a signal.
Oh, okay.
So I created like a logic for it. And then I sent it over to a coder, like one of my close friends. And then he created it into an indicator, because I'm not a coder at all. I tried to learn, but it's
I was going to ask you that. When did you learn how to do that? The coding?
Yeah, I tried to, and man, it was difficult. I messed up so many times. It took me a couple months. I was like, I'll just pay someone to do this for me and do it right. And that's pretty much how I created it. And a lot of people have, I've seen other people, I've seen that they've evolved TradingView where they made it easier for people to create their own indicators.
Yeah.
I haven't really dived into it because there's just really no point for me to do it anymore since I have my indicators. But I've seen that they've evolved a lot. I created those indicators about 3 or 4 years ago. So I think now they actually have like an actual Investopedia type thing where it kind of teaches you how to use stuff.
That's awesome, man. And what do you think as far as like your success rate? Like, do you percentage wise, as close as possible as you can? Like, what do you think your success rate is at right now with this trading style?
So overall, with all the systems, I think, well, each of them they're pretty the same. Like I was mentioning, they're kind of similar, so we're looking for the same thing. But the ones that I actually have, hard data, because what I do is like I have different services within K2, and with my signal service and the trades that I actually call live, I actually document those. So like for all of those that are actually documented for the forex trades, I think we're at about maybe around a 76 to 78% win rate with like verified trades, like trades where I call the signal and then I give the results after. Like people see it live and they're all like within our Telegram channel and they're all pretty much recorded. And you can always like for my indicators and my strategies, you can always go back and back test it to see it real time, because like with TradingView you can replay.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And the thing with my strategies, you can't change it. Like once the signal comes up on the screen, it doesn't repaint. So you can just go back and you can just you can rewind back to like 2010 and then just run the strategy throughout the entire year and see how it plays out, right? So that my win rate for the forex strategies would be about a little bit above like 76% for last year. And then for our indices, that strategy is a little different. That one's like strictly based off momentum. I have two strategies that we use for that. We have one where it's taking once a day. Basically, the way that strategy works for US 30 is we use my momentum indicator and that's it. So basically, we wait for the New York Stock Exchange to open. And, in the beginning, there's always a burst of volatility. There's manipulation on that first candle. And we just wait for that to happen. And then we try to wait for momentum to identify where the institutions and banks are going to be trading for that day. So we just wait for them to make their little manipulated move. And then after that, when we get our signal, we just ride that down a set amount of pips, because I back tested that strategy about like 10 years of data. So I went to see how accurate it was long term, and then I figured out what the sweet spot was for our TP stop loss. So like generally where price moves within that span, about 8 hours from market open 6:30 my time up until I guess 1 o'clock when the market shifts over for the swap spread. So then that's one of the strategies that we use for US 30. And then we also have a scalping strategy that I introduced to our members like about 4 months ago. So just taking into consideration the daily strategy, that one has a higher win rate. That one has about like a 84 to 86% win rate, because it's only once a day. So it's once a day. Obviously there's only so many days in a year, and the win rate's higher because we're not taking so many trades. So that's why that win rate's higher, and it's a lot more accurate. So for that one, it's kind of like a set and forget strategy. You just take the trade, and then you can adjust your stop loss as it moves, or you can just let it run. Either way, the win rate's still between probably a 77 to like an 86% win rate.
I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, my goal this year is to get to 70%. I'm right around like 66%, but to be above 70, I think that's fantastic for any trader, for any system. And I'm here on your website here, and it says, the word that sticks out to me on your website is simplicity. Like you keeping it simple, and it sounds like it's very easy to learn, easy to do your strategy. So that's awesome, man. And what I want to go back a little bit here. So you said when you first started off with stocks, and you're kind of learning different strategies from different people. Like, do you remember like maybe who you try to learn from? Me personally, when I first started trading stocks, I was doing penny stocks, so I did the whole Tim Sykes thing.
Oh man, me too. Tim Sykes, and I forget, he had one student. I forget, he had that one big student. Who's that big student that he taught? He's a big one too. He's I forgot what his name was, but
I followed Tim Sykes. I did the Momo Trader guys. I did Warrior Trading. Like those are the guys who I started off with as far as stocks. Like, do you remember who you started off with?
So I did penny stocks with Tim Sykes too. Like I didn't get his course or anything, but I watched his free videos and stuff, and I just kind of figured out what he was doing, and then I tied that in with a couple other people. There's this other guy, his name's Ricky Gutierrez from like TechBud. He does stocks too, and I was learning from them just how to do stocks, just how to find stocks. I think the hardest part with stocks was finding the stock to trade. So that's kind of what turned me to Forex too, because I was like, I could master this currency, and I don't have to go and like search for what's a good stock to trade for that day. But yeah, that's pretty much where I learned from first, just from Timothy Sykes. That's where I learned penny stocks. Not really learned, but I understood the gambling effect of it. The pump and dump type stocks with the penny stocks. And the real reason why I really didn't care about stocks anymore once I found Forex was because I made pretty good amount of money, jumping into those pump and dump stocks. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just buying whenever someone told us to buy or told us to sell.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I made a pretty good amount of money, but they didn't teach you no risk management. They just teach you how to buy and sell.
Yeah, close when you want, close when you want.
Exactly. And I would put all my money into one stock. And then there's this one day where I did that again. And the stock that we were buying into filed for bankruptcy like an hour after. So my stock just dropped and I didn't know to close it out because I was like, okay, this is a stock. It has to come back up, right? Someone's going to buy the company. It's going to go out of bankruptcy. Nobody bought that company. My money went from like, I think 7,000 to zero. And I was a college student. I have no money. I'm like, I was freaking out. So when that happened, that's when I kind of eased off trading for a bit. That's why, I have such a long history of trading, because I would trade for like maybe a year, stop for a couple of months when I lose money, and I'd go back into it. And then once I found Forex, I was like, this is something where I can actually learn like technical analysis. Like there's a reasoning behind it. Like I know there's reasoning behind stocks too, but it's kind of harder for you to really put the pieces together because each company is moving differently. It's not consistent, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like one company's pushing up. Sometimes company will just be flat. I feel like most of the work for stocks was to find the proper company that was consistently moving. And if you don't have enough money, you can't really trade much with stocks. The penny stocks is cool, but if you want to trade like the blue chip stocks that actually move smoothly, you had to have like good amount of money to trade those.
Yeah.
So like when I found Forex, I was like, okay, this is perfect because I can trade with like $1,000, couple $1,000, and I can make some money. With stocks, you can make a couple pennies or something. If you're trading the bigger stocks, like make a couple bucks a week. And then also the pattern day trading tool, the pattern day trading rule that threw me off because I remember I got flagged for it a couple times, and then they just they froze my account for like 3 months or something like that. Right? I think that's what happened. So that's what happened. That's why my whole learning process in the beginning would like stall, because when that would happen and I get triggered, I couldn't trade for like 3 months. And then I didn't realize you can open an account with another broker. I didn't really do much research at that point. So that made me, that slowed down my learning process until I found Forex, and then that rule didn't apply and we could trade 24 hours. So I was like, okay, perfect. This works out perfect for me. But, going back to your question, I don't really remember anyone that I learned from specifically, because what I would do is I would just go on YouTube, type in, Forex strategy, watch a video. There's the related video next to it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this next person. I never stayed with one person. I always wanted to see what this person was teaching. I wanted to see what this person was teaching, because I was always curious. Everyone is teaching different. People are using different indicators. People are using different tools. And I just wanted to, I was a sponge. I want to learn everything. So there's no one person that I learned from, but I did learn from a lot of different people, over the years, basically.
That's good, man. And I feel you as far as like the stocks. Like one of the reasons why I switch as well is because I actually had to spend money to look for stocks, right? I forgot which program I used, but I paid for like a screener, right? What was pumping up pre-market, and how can we trade? And when I got introduced to Forex, I was like, wait a minute, I can just like you, I can just focus on these 5. Like I don't have to screen anything. Like, oh, there's money. So yeah, I totally get that. I'm glad you mentioned college, because this has been kind of a touchy subject, at least from the people who I talk to, and there's a different perspective of this. So college gets a lot, especially in the Forex world or an entrepreneur. Like it gets a lot of bad. It has like a bad reputation, right? Like going to college, doing that 9 to 5, right? I've had arguments with people like you can't knock on people who have a 9 to 5. Right? Like
Exactly,
you need a 9 to 5, one, to trade. Like to make money, you need money, right?
It's a vehicle to get together.
Yeah, and when you blow your account, how you gonna, you're gonna blow your account. Everyone does, right? So when you blow your account, how you gonna, open up another account? Like, so how do you feel? What do you tell people? Well, how do you feel now about if someone's out there thinking about like, okay, I want to do this, I want to try trading full time, or should I go with college? I want to do a part-time job because I want to focus more on trading. Like, what do you tell the people who are in the mix of things as far as college and doing that 9 to 5?
Gotcha. Yeah. So with college, I would only recommend college to someone if they know what they want to do, right? Because you see a lot of people go to college and they don't know what they want to do. They just go and they just go because they think that's the route. They're supposed to do that. For me, I already had a plan since I was a kid. I already knew I was going to be an attorney. I was like, I'm going to go to college, go to law school, become an attorney, get a good paying job, work at a big firm. And I did all that. I went through the same path that I planned as a kid. But times change. Obviously, times change. I rack up all this debt from college and law school, and working as an attorney, I did get paid well. I worked at a big firm out here in Newport Beach. I got paid well, but the exchange for your health and with work, it just didn't balance out. Plus, what I was getting paid was good, but thinking back to like my loans, my law school loans, like I owed a lot of money. Like I owed, like with interest and everything, I think I owed almost 360,000, like total with everything.
Wow.
And I thought about it, and I was like, working at this law firm, I'm going to be paying those loans for the rest of my life, literally the rest of my life. So I had to find an exit. I had to find something where I can make more money, how to make more money quicker for less work, and something that I actually enjoyed, because I hated being an attorney. Like, bro, I hated being an attorney. It was just so much stress. It was just a lot of work and just not a lot of reward, right? Because I was living basic. I was living like very basic. And I never got anything that I wanted growing up because I was always so focused on this plan to go to school, and finish my route. And then that's where I got into trading, like where I got deeper. Because when I started to think about it, I was like, do I want to be at this dead end job forever? And I knew how much I owed. So I was like, I need to find something else. And that's where I started to like really drill down on trading. So like going back to your question, if someone knows what they want to do, like if, we're Filipino, you want to be a nurse, go be a nurse, if you want to be a nurse, go be a nurse, and save your money. And once you have enough money to put in, your capital for trading, then go ahead and do that. But I would never knock college. The only time I would knock college is if you're going and you don't know what you want to do. Because you see people go to college, they rack up all this debt, and they get out of school and they have nothing to do. They don't have a job, they don't have any specialty, they have nothing to really work towards. And that's like, that's just sad, the sad way of life. So, going back to your question, I definitely, the only time I would knock college is if you don't know what to do. Just go get a job, work a part-time job, a full-time job, and then just do that until you figure out what you want to do. Because I always feel like in life, you should always have a plan. It doesn't matter if it's like, you don't need to have that long-term goal, but have, something reaching to your next step. Like always have something to work towards. Like if you don't know what to do, just, work that part-time job or full-time job until you could figure out if you want to go to school or if you want to be a trader or if you want to, do whatever you want to do at that point. But I would always recommend to do something. Don't just sit on your ass and like, or go to college and think that, everything's going to be nice after, because you're going to rack up debt and you're going to regret it later. I regret it now, but I still, I still appreciate the experiences I went through, like to get to this point. Because like now that I feel like if I didn't have that pressure where I owed all my student loans, I wouldn't have traded. I wouldn't push this hard to be such a good trader. It gave me that drive because I need to dig myself out of this hole. And thankfully, I'm probably going to be out of it probably by the end of this year, hopefully.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Yeah. I mean, I get that too. I went to college and I was in debt and I had to refinance my house just to pay off, my college loan. And it feels so much better without, when you're not in debt like that anymore. So I get it. I'm glad you talked about goals, right? Because I'm big on goals, right? I do daily goals. What kind of goals do you have short term, and like what do you see your system here, your brand, like in like 5 years? Like where do you want to see it in?
Yeah, definitely. So like personal goal wise, obviously I have like the same goals everyone has, like buy a nice, big, nice house, have a nice car, all those main goals. And there's stepping stones to that, right? If you want to buy a big house or you want to buy a nice car, like you have to have smaller goals in between that to reach those, that height. Yeah. So my goals now are, well, I always have big goals, but my goals now are basically to, just build my community and continue building my trading account. Like every time I reach my goal, like I would have like a, monthly profit goal that I want to reach or a weekly profit goal. And then once I reach that, I'll just increase it higher and higher and higher. And then that'll keep getting me towards where I want to go. And that ties in with my trading too. That's why when I trade, I'm very careful with my trade. I'm a very conservative trader because when I take a trade, I think about it. Once I identify that trade, I'm like, is this going to bring me towards my goal or is it going to take me away from my goal? So I'm like, is this a very risky trade or is it almost a guaranteed trade? So there's like a lot of different things that I put into play. but definitely like my goal is basically just to reach the higher goals. And with K2, it's like right now I already offer certain things. Like I offer a mentorship, I offer my live trading, I offer my signals and stuff. I want to get away from signals. I hate doing signals. Like it just gets repetitive, and I prefer to just trade live. And if people want to copy my trades while I'm trading, then go ahead and copy them, right? And now I'm slowly moving towards that. So like now I trade live every morning. Every morning I'm on YouTube live and I'm trading live. So if people want to copy my trades, they don't even have to sign up for anything. They just go to my YouTube channel and then just watch all my live trades every morning. I trade live from 6:30 a.m. to about 10:30 a.m., like the beginning of the New York session.
Okay.
So that's basically what I have right now. And my next goal for K2 was possibly creating like my own prop firm, like kind of something like FTMO, because I'm doing FTMO now. And I've been with them since last May. I've been with them since last May. And I feel like with my system, because it's crazy, like my students are making more profit than me now. So I'm like, this has to, like, it works and it's consistent. Like every day I show everyone's profits. Like during my live session, everyone's sending their profits to me and I save them all in my Telegram. Like I have a whole page of everyone's profits. And at the end of the day, I share them with the rest of the group. And, we really built like a tribe within K2 because everyone is like on the same goal, that we're all applying the same strategy. So we're looking for the same thing. And like, it doesn't matter if I win at a trade, if they win at a trade, like we're all celebrating together. It's like really like a big community where we're going for that same goal, where everyone wants to be, consistently profitable. So I think that the next 5 years from now is probably maybe expand the mentorship to have like the actual students teaching the students within, because I do everything myself. Like all the mentoring sessions, everyone wants to learn from me, obviously, because I created the system. So what I'm trying to do is, that takes so much time out of my own trading, where I want like, maybe people within K2 teach the people within K2 now. But they're already doing that, but I want it to be a more formal setting where they actually have like really formal training for me to like do exactly what I'm doing. And basically just, pass it on to the new students. But yeah, definitely I think the very long-term goal would probably be creating my own prop firm, not necessarily like FTMO where I let everyone, join and pay a fee or whatever and stuff like that. More so where we have to vet the people. Like we want actual legit traders that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we want them, like we want to train them so that they can really apply the strategies consistently. And, so we don't have to worry about people coming and going. It's going to be like a consistent, build this person up, train them to do exactly what we're doing, and just, rinse and repeat for the next person. So that's probably going to be the next goal for us. I guess you would consider that like a more legit proprietary firm, like not necessarily open to the public, but one that's like within us only.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. I mean, the way how the route that you're taking right now and the mentality you have, I mean, I have no doubt, you're going to get there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you accomplish these goals, right? So, I mean, because I've been following you for quite some time.
You've been following me since I think before K2 was even a company. It was just the community that was starting to grow.
Yeah, and I went on your website and I was like, oh man, I really like how your website is well organized and just the whole energy about it. I really like. So, I'm gonna cut this short. But before I cut this interview, tell everyone here that's watching, like, where else can they find? I didn't know you did live YouTube. I thought you were doing live on Instagram. I saw you live several times a couple weeks back, so I thought you were consistently doing that. So, tell everyone here how they can find you, where can they reach you, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if you guys want to find me, you can go on our website, www.k2trades.com. If you want to email me directly, I respond to everything. If you guys are on our Telegram page or anything, I'm there active all day, every day. And if you want to email me, it's just Shawn@k2trades.com. And if you want to go on our YouTube channel, it's at www.youtube.com/K2trades. So basically, at K2 Trades everything. You can find me on there. And if you guys want to communicate with me directly, I'm always available. I'm here to help everyone out. If you watch any of my videos, like, YouTube is completely free. Anyone can go on there. I answer questions every morning, like literally all day. And I'm there to pass on my knowledge. Because like I said, I've been trading for so long.
Yeah.
And back then I had no mentor, no teacher, no nothing. So I'm here to just pass on what I learned and, put everyone on that right track. Because there's a lot of scammers in this game. So, I'm definitely trying to, change it up and be 100% transparent with, my live trading every day. So everyone can see like my whole process start to finish.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because like the people who I choose to interview is people who I believe in. I don't want to interview like scammers. So like I said, I've been following you for so long, so I know you're a real trader, you're a real person. So if you're listening out there, go follow this guy. I'm gonna have everything in the description area, everything that he just mentioned. So if you need to get a hold of him, just check out the description area. But Shawn, I really appreciate you. Man, you're a great guy. You're a great person. Even a better trader. So thank you for taking the time out your busy day here to kind of show everyone and tell everyone your trading strategy and your journey and everything. So I really do appreciate you.
Definitely, man. Thanks for having me on the show, JP. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, no problem. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and mahalo for watching.
See you guys.